gentlemen. Today on Life with Ava Marie, we are going to talk about my fertility journey. I've honestly been dreading making this video since I knew I wanted to make this video. So I'm going to practice doing my makeup while we have a talk. I already did my skin prep. My first appointment after my breast cancer diagnosis was with the breast surgeon. Remember, we thought I was at stage 3 at first. So the surgeon asked me if my partner and I have kids, and I say no. And then she asks if I want kids, or we want kids, excuse me. And I say at some point, yes. Close up mirror for this. But since chemo shuts down your ovaries, that answer started the ball rolling for IVF and embryo storage. As much as I would like to get through this video without crying, I'm definitely prepared to edit all that out. And I have my box of tissue next to me, just in case. It started on May 27th with me in the conference room at my old job on a telehealth appointment with the specialist trying to determine when I would come in based on the date of my last period. That was a lot. A day or two later, I remember it was a Friday, I was at their office for blood work and sonograms and to discuss meds and finances. Sidebar. The doctor said I had like textbook perfect ovaries based on my sonogram, but chemo done shriveled them up, so whatever. Back to the story. The meds seemed like a lot based on the rundown I was given, as well as the list they emailed me. I genuinely had no idea if I would get these on time because they were so specific, or if my insurance would even cover it. Just so many worries, but I had to do it. I never know if I'm using the right brushes. Y'all gonna learn that about me. That afternoon, I'm at work and I get an email from the coordinator I've been working with saying that they had some meds on hand that they can give me and I can come pick them up. It was so urgent that I picked them up because I had to start using them the next day. I showed up to their office after hours since my coordinator waited for me to get off work, and she handed me about $8,000 worth of meds in a plastic grocery bag and a big ass paper shopping bag. That night, I had so many consent forms to fill out. One was for genetic testing. That came up with no indicators of cancer or breast cancer or something, but there was something that was undetermined that can later possibly be determined as cancer or something. I think what it is that they don't have the research to support whatever they found. I'm not sure if I'm making sense. I don't exactly know the verbiage either. Oh well. Along with that, I had to watch videos to learn how to give myself fertility injections. I watch enough shows like Grey's Anatomy and The Resident and Chicago Med to know that air bubbles are bad. And I couldn't just pull out the whole dose. I had to pull out something very specific and mix it a certain way so the panic set in. You know how I am with panic. I also got an email from the financial coordinator at the fertility clinic, and whoo child, that's all I can say. This is already turning out significantly better than the last time I did my makeup. Let this be a lesson to not cut corners. There was another medication that I had to pick up from a specialty pharmacy that I had passed for years but never went into. Luckily, my insurance fully covered that. I'm trying to figure out how much coverage I want on this eye. Where was I? I had a friend that was nice enough to come from Queens to Brooklyn to pick me up, take me to the pharmacy to get the medication, and bring me back home, just to make sure I start this on time. When I got back home, I went back to watching videos. Still trying to amp myself up, but it really wasn't working. I remember calling the clinic emergency line asking if I can wait a day or two, and they checked my records and they're like, yeah, no. Based on your period, you gotta start this tonight. I had the bright idea to see if my traveling nurse friend was home, because last I checked, she was somewhere that wasn't home, and she was. Your girl got lucky, and she was at my house by 6:15 for my 7 o'clock injection. My favorite memory in this part is when I called the emergency line again to have a doctor call me back to make sure my dosage was correct, and she was at her son's basketball game. So she calls me back, and I tell her I have a nurse friend listening, you can speak medically, and she just goes through the list, and my friend repeats it back, and of course it's correct, and she just sent us on our way. My friend wrote the doctor's instructions on a paper towel and left it on my kitchen counter for me to reference every time I had to do my injection, so that was my injection station. I watched her prepare the first injection and help me administer it.
There you go. You let go of your skin. Let go of your skin. Let go of your skin. Then you're gonna. Ow. And you know you put all of it because it says 0 now. Oh, I don't like that feeling. Oh, I don't.
But when it was time for the second injection, my body just...
Right here, spin? Yep. Push in. Let your skin go and then inject.
I want to hold your hand, but I can't.
I'm here. 1, 2, 3, go. Put it flush with your skin. It's not going to hurt that much. It's a very tiny needle. You let go of your skin. Push in. You're good.
I was shaking, I was nauseated, I had to sit down, but she needed me to do it myself because she wasn't always going to be there to hold my hand the other days I was doing it, so.
You have to push though. I'm not going to be here. Push until you can't anymore. Like, pull it out. Pull it straight out. There you go. She did great.
I got through it. Why am I contouring my nose? And that was the end of night 1's injections. So I was back in my injection station for the morning dose, and then the nighttime dose, and then the next morning dose, and then the next nighttime dose. There was also pills I was taking, and things were in the fridge. It was just so much. The Monday after, I had to go back to the clinic for more blood and more ovary checks or whatever they were trying to check him out. Hoo-ha. This continues pretty much every other day for about a week. This nose bump messes with me when I try to do my contour. A couple of these days in the week, my partner came with me to do their consent and their parts. Now, I'm not versed in the IVF stuff. There's a difference in freezing eggs and freezing embryos. Freezing eggs is freezing eggs, but freezing embryos is what we were gonna do, which is the fertilized egg. That process in itself had its own set of consent forms for legal things. That was just a lot. We had the bright idea to ask, can we freeze eggs along with freezing embryos? While you can freeze eggs, it wasn't an option for us at the moment. Because we were doing an embryo cycle, it's their policy to do one embryo cycle or finish whatever cycle you're doing, and then your next cycle could be the egg cycle, because you just don't want to mix them up, which is totally understandable. I'm still proceeding with injections now. We're now at the weekend, and we are days away from the official egg retrieval date. I still ain't paid these people. I asked if they had a payment plan, and they do. However, you need to be paid in full 2 weeks before your service date or your retrieval date. I didn't even know y'all 2 weeks ago. So now we're here. Like that was logistically impossible. So my mom's making calls, my partner's making calls, everybody's doing what they can do to try to help get this money. And then my mom asked me, well, what if you stop? I didn't want stopping to be an option for me. I wanted a family. I wanted children. I wanted children with my partner. I'm still working on this nose. So I emailed the coordinator and I asked her hypothetically if I were to just quit giving myself the injections, would there be any health risk to me, and what would be the financial responsibility, if any? There were no health risks. I would only be responsible for my copays. Fine. I struggled with the decision so much. My partner pleaded with me not to do it, but I had to. I'm gonna try this eye. So I hit my mom with the UN, and I felt so bad for doing that. But she was making the financial points, and I was acting out of pure emotion. Sorry, Mommy. I love you. At this point, I had no desire to start a GoFundMe because it wouldn't be sustainable in the long run for this purchase. It's like $1,000 a year just to keep the eggs stored, or 1,200 or something. I don't know. Either way, that would have been a long run investment. When did this happen? I don't know what that was. So June 3rd, I sent the official email to my coordinator that I was stopping my IVF treatments and I would be bringing back any unused medication because it just didn't feel right for me to keep it. What am I keeping fertility meds for? She said she'd talk to people on her end about waiving fees, but it just wouldn't be enough. Honestly, I knew the financial part of going through IVF was going to kick my ass. I consider IVF to be one of those things that wealthy people do because they have the resources. Resources that I don't have. Why do I look weird in the face? It's my eye. Something's off. Anyway, I cried for days. That was almost 2 years ago, and I still have moments where I'm grieving over not having the family that I want. Whee! This is not crying. This is watering from lining my tight line. And now the eye twitch. Oh, no! No, I didn't catch it. Okay, let me see how I can fix this. Fixed. You bastard. I apparently haven't used mascara in so long that I don't have any, so I have to put on a lash. Okay, half lash it is. Where's my scissor? I went through chemo thinking that I could never get pregnant and that my period would never come back. I was wrong. My first infusion after chemo, when my oncologist did her rounds, she said to me, be careful and use protection while you're on this medication. I was hit with confusion because, excuse me? So my period will come back and I can get pregnant. I just shouldn't. And because I have such a twisted sense of humor, I'm just like, so back to normal? I'm gonna fuck this up. Doing strip lashes has got to be my least favorite part. I always have to go back and add more eyeliner. And this is makeshift mascara. No. I'm watering again. Yes, I threw it. So I saw my period for the first time about 5 or 6 months after chemo. I'm looking for a fluffy brush. This will do. Where's my halo glow? So my period came back about 5 or 6 months after chemo. I can't exactly remember when, but I definitely made a TikTok about it. It was like a big deal for me. And then it went MIA for a good few months. And then it came back once or twice before the end of 2023. Since October of 2023, my period has come consistently every 2 months. Based on the day I'm shooting this video, my period might be here in a month. Otherwise, it's just don't get pregnant. Ever. Whew. So, if you made this far, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things. Toodles!